Today we're cracking open a medical cold case file. It's a real detective story about a super baffling condition that causes this profound weakness, and the clever, but pretty dangerous, chemical clue that was once used to unmask it.
So, here's the game plan for our investigation. First, we'll dive into the mystery itself. Then we'll check out the chemical truth serum that helped crack the case, see the big moment of truth, uncover the drug's dark side, and finally, find out why this star detective was, well, basically forced into retirement.
Okay, so our story starts deep inside the human body. We're talking about a really puzzling set of symptoms that mess with the most basic functions, things like opening your eyes or even just taking a breath.
And this question, man, it gets right to the heart of the disease we're looking at. Imagine this. Your brain is sending out commands, clear as day, but somewhere along the line they just get lost in translation. It creates this incredibly frustrating disconnect between what you want to do and what your body can actually do.
So who's the bad guy in this story? Well, it's actually the body's own immune system. It's a classic case of mistaken identity. It starts attacking and destroying these crucial communication points, these receptors, where your nerves are supposed to talk to your muscles. It's basically friendly fire, and it just wrecks the whole system.
Now, every good mystery needs that one key clue, right? The thing that blows the case wide open. In our medical drama, that clue is a really fascinating and powerful drug called Edrophonium.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mouthful, I know. But here's the simple way to think about it. This drug is basically a temporary volume knob for the signals between your nerves and muscles. It finds that super quiet, broken signal and just cranks it all the way up to 11. But only for a few minutes.
Okay, first, let's look at how this is all supposed to work. It's a beautiful three-step process. The nerve sends out a chemical message, the muscle gets it and contracts, and then an enzyme comes in and cleans everything up. Simple, right? That lets the muscle relax and get ready for the next signal.
But with myasthenia gravis, that second step is totally broken. The nerve sends the message, no problem, but most of the receptors are blocked or gone. The message just can't get through. And all the while, that cleanup enzyme is still doing its job, sweeping away the signal, which means you get a really weak, pathetic muscle response.
And this is how Edrophonium cracks the case. It's brilliant, really. It swoops in and blocks that cleanup enzyme. So now the chemical messenger acetylcholine isn't getting cleared away. It just floods the area, building up and up until it overwhelms the system, finds those few remaining receptors, and forces a strong contraction. It's like turning a trickle of water into a fire hose.
And all of this leads to the big climax of our investigation, the diagnostic test itself. It was famously known as the Tensilon test.
This is the interrogation scene. Doctors would inject this chemical truth serum and then just watch. They're looking for the body's confession. And if the weakness is really from myasthenia gravis, the result is so fast and so obvious, you just can't deny it. I mean, the results were just stunningly dramatic. You could have a patient whose eyelid is drooping so much they can barely see, and then bam, their eyes are wide open. A voice that was just a faint whisper suddenly becomes strong. It's this almost magical, right before your eyes confirmation of the diagnosis.
But here's the thing. The effect is incredibly brief. All that evidence appears, clear as day, and then poof, it's gone just as fast. That super short duration was actually perfect for a test, though. You get a quick answer without any long-lasting side effects. Or so they thought.
Because, like in any good detective story, our star clue has a really dark side. The very thing that made Edrophonium so amazing was also what made it incredibly dangerous.
See, the drug doesn't just turn up the volume between nerves and muscles. Nope, it cranks up the volume on this specific chemical signal everywhere in the body. And that leads to some pretty serious problems.
When you boost acetylcholine everywhere, you can get this cascade of nasty side effects, which doctors have memorably summarized with the acronym SLUDGE. We're talking about overstimulating everything from your tear ducts to your digestive system. Not fun.
And this leads to an absolutely terrifying life-or-death puzzle for doctors. Imagine a patient who is already being treated for myasthenia gravis suddenly gets way weaker. Is it because the disease is getting worse, or is it because their medication dose is actually too high? They look exactly the same, but the fix for one could kill the other.
So they used Edrophonium to solve this scary riddle. If they gave the drug and the patient got stronger, it was a myasthenic crisis. They needed more medicine. But if the patient got even weaker, it meant they were in a cholinergic crisis.
They were already drowning in too much medication. Giving this drug to that person could be catastrophic. We're talking respiratory arrest, where they just stop breathing. A huge, huge gamble.
And in the end, the risks just became too great. The danger of severe heart problems, that high-stakes crisis test, it all meant that our star detective, the Tensilon test, had to be taken off the case for good.
So why did the case go cold on Edrophonium? Well, simply put, we found better, safer, and way more objective tools. Modern blood tests can actually find the specific antibodies causing the problem. And things like EMGs give doctors hard data, which takes all the guesswork out of it.
But what's so cool is that even though we don't really use it anymore, the story of Edrophonium is still a legend in neurology. It's this perfect textbook example of a drug whose unique abilities were tailor-made for a specific diagnostic problem. It taught us so much.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, right? The story of Edrophonium is this powerful reminder of just how fast medicine evolves. It makes you wonder, what tools and tests that we swear by today are going to be the fascinating cold cases of tomorrow?